Good morning, class. My name is Victor Guerreri, and I'm a student here at Southwestern College of Professional Studies. I have a very simple question for you today, and that is, do you feel leaders are born or that leaders are made? Now, that has been a question that has been asked over the years for a long time, and it's a topic for debate. Now, my current field of study here at Southwestern College is in leadership strategies, so I felt today was a good time for me to be able to talk to you about what type of leader you are or that you strive to be. So in today's speech, I'll cover three areas, and the first one is the definition of leadership. The second area is what kind of leader do you want to be? What kind of leader do you feel you are? And lastly, my view on what leadership is, and over the years, what I've been able to develop and practice in my role as being a leader from time to time in the different positions that I've filled. So to start off with, the simple definition of leadership, and I'm going to read it to you, and it's right out of Webster's dictionary, is leadership is a process of social influence which works to increase the efforts of others in pursuit of a common goal. Now, this is directly out of the Webster's dictionary, and this is a very simple term or a very simple definition of what leadership is. Over your course of study here at Southwestern College, I ask that you look into the type of leadership you are or the type of leadership roles that you fill. This definition is a simple definition. If you type in to your search browser leadership, it's going to bring up the Wikipedia definition of what leadership is. Now, I don't subscribe to Wikipedia and exactly what Wikipedia says, but Wikipedia has always been a good starting point in research to give you ideas and general philosophies out there, and you can go different directions in your research from there. But if you type in leadership and then look at the Wikipedia definition, it gives you a broad spectrum of everything that is out there for leadership. We have researched it, we've theorized about it, we've applied it to different aspects of professional life and non-professional life. There's a lot of definitions out there and a lot of scholars that give their own take on what they feel leadership is. So that's the simple definition, but there's a lot more that's out there. So with that being said, the second question I have for you is, what do you want to be as a leader? What type of philosophy do you have or do you want to have when it comes to being a leader? There's all different types of leaders out there. There's different aspects and attitudes towards leadership out there. John Maxwell is one of the leading professionals in teaching leadership. He's an inspirational speaker. He has a huge company that goes out and teaches leadership qualities, leadership education for corporate businesses, for religious institutions, churches, and so on, educational side. And he has a lot of inspirational quotes out there. But one of them that kind of fits into my philosophy of what it means to be a leader is there's 7 steps to becoming a leader, or what a leader is. And I have to read it because I don't have them memorized exactly yet. But you make a commitment to grow daily. You value the process more than the events, which means the process of whatever you're doing. And it can fit into any daily life or any daily activity, but you value the process more than the events of what's happening. You don't wait for inspiration. You go out and you look for inspiration. You create inspiration. You're willing to sacrifice pleasure for opportunity. You dream big. You think about the big picture. You dream big, and then you try and achieve those goals. You plan your priorities, and you give up to go up. Now, this sounds weird, but I want you to truly think about the type of leader that you want to be in every part of your life. We're leaders as parents. We're leaders as somebody in our organization, our place of business, our place of work. We're leaders in our social environment, whether it's in a civic activity or a civic group, or just your group of friends on the golf course, as an example. We can be leaders in that situation also. The last point that I want to bring up is my philosophy on what it takes to be a good leader. I've chosen this path because it has chosen me throughout my life. And I say that because I've never once taken a position or an opportunity and said, I'm going to be that supervisor. I want to become the manager. I want to become the non-commissioned officer in charge. I want to become the fire chief or fire captain. I want to become these things. I have always taken the stance that to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. And in being a good follower, every job that I've taken, I've perfected my craft, I've learned my job, I've pushed myself to understand every facet about my job, and I've given my job 200% of my effort to make sure that it is done correct, it is done right, I follow the policies, the guidelines, the standards set forth, and the opportunities of being a leader have, for lack of better terms, fallen into my lap. And I understand that. I've been a leader in a lot of the things, or a lot of the areas and the organizations that I've been involved in. That simple saying that I have, to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower, has helped me, and I hope that you can take that simple statement and apply it to your life. Now, to be a good follower, or to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. Simply by being a good leader, you already are a good follower. You have a boss somewhere down the line. You have somebody that you have to answer to somewhere down the line. As a fire chief, I have to answer to the fire board. As a fire captain, I have to answer to the fire chief. But underneath being a fire captain, I have, at some points in time, 3 up to 150 people underneath my supervision or my leadership or my guidance. In my daily life, I'm a leader in my household. I have to lead my children. I have to help my children grow. I have to be able to formulate their lives and get them going in a direction so that they're successful for the rest of their life. And that comes back to the simple statement or the simple definition of leadership as a process of influence, which works to increase the efforts of others in pursuit of a common goal. Now, in today's world, being a leader sometimes gets confused with having to be the manager or the person in charge or the one that's making those decisions. John Maxwell has said, and I like this quote, that sometimes as a leader you have to lead from behind. And what he's saying is that leading from behind, you can push your organization, your group, your team members in that direction of the common goal. And at any point in time that you run into a hurdle or a stumbling block, that's when you jump out front and you become the leader. You get through that stumbling block, you help influence your group, your team, your organization that you're with. And once you get through that stumbling block and you start moving towards that opportunity again or that goal, you step back and you lead from behind. Back of all my helmets, my Army helmet, my fire helmet, my construction helmet, it's a simple saying that says, follow me. And I strongly believe that. I have never asked any of my subordinates, team members, whatever designation we have out there, to do something they have not seen me do 100 times before in the past. There's one story of when I was with the 95th Division at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, in the Army Reserves, and I was on active duty orders. I was the non-commissioned officer in charge over fire and rescue training and vertical construction. It was my day to take care of the battalion. I sent everybody out to run the firing ranges for the day. So there was 5 of us left back at the battalion. My commander came down to me and said, "Sergeant Guerreri, Commandant, the base general, wants to come by the unit this afternoon and just take a walk around. Can you make sure that everything is straightened up and ready to go?" And I said, "Not a problem." The commander walked out of my office. I sat there and I said, well, I've sent everybody out to run the firing ranges for the day. So I had another master sergeant and 2 staff sergeants left at the unit. So I asked the master sergeant, "Can you help me straighten up the battalion? We have the commander coming today, the base general coming today. Can you help me just kind of go around and straighten up the battalion and make sure that everything's in order?" And he said, "Not a problem, Sergeant Guerreri." I walked down the hall. I asked my 2 E7s that were working that day if they could do the same thing, and they said, "Not a problem, Sergeant Guerreri." I went back to my office, took off my blouse, hung it on the back of my chair, went to the closet where we kept all the custodial supplies, and the cart that we had to take around to clean up the bathrooms and stuff was gone. So I stepped down the hallway and I looked in the bathroom, and my 2 E7s were already working on the bathrooms. And I turned around, and here comes my commander pushing a broom down the hallway. And then I see my master sergeant. I look out the front doors, and he's out in the parking lot picking up trash and straightening up the outside of the building. And I got thinking to myself, I was like, I didn't ask these people to do these specific tasks. They just automatically did it. And that comes back to, they had seen me several times cleaning up the bathrooms, running a broom in the hallway, picking up the trash outside, leading by example. That simple saying, "Follow me," on the back of my helmets, is what I take as the simple process of what a leader is. So today we've talked about the definition of leadership. I've challenged you to think throughout the rest of your educational process and really the rest of your life, what type of leader you are, what type of leader you want to be. And the third thing is my philosophy on what it takes to be a leader. I hope that you guys have an excellent rest of your educational career here at Southwestern College. I thank you, instructor, for giving us this class. I've learned a lot, and I hope that you can take these things that I've said and think about leadership and apply it in your daily life. Thank you.